So I'm a huge article reader. I read them all the time. I've read at least 3, and I came across this one about a year ago, and it's filled with a lot of good shit, so I thought it was worth sharing. And essentially it's saying if we don't pause to ask ourselves what we want to want, we'll spend our lives focusing on the wrong things and end up making a lot of our choices based on what we believe others want us to do. If we're being honest, I think a lot of us sometimes prioritise an outward appearance of doing well or being happy over actually internally feeling happy. And I think the obvious example of this is social media. People posting just their best moments and other people assuming that that is their life. But I think this is pretty common even outside of social media. So an important question to ask yourself is, do you actually want the things you're currently doing in life? Or are you just doing it for that outward appearance? Having zero goals or zero plans will feel nice in the moment, but feel horrible in retrospect. And unfortunately, a lot of the things that are beneficial for your future self aren't super hedonically fun in the moment. So there's 2 types of happiness. There is hedonic happiness and eudaimonic happiness. Something hedonic would be sitting down, watching Netflix and eating a massive cake, right? That's fun in the moment. Something eudaimonic would be working out or eating healthy, right? So that's not as fun in the moment, but great for your future self. So for a lot of people, their default want would be to do the Netflix and cake thing. But through deliberate training and habits, you can get to a stage where you want what you want to want. Right? So if someone doesn't want to work out, you can get to a stage where that's something you want to want. But essentially what I'm trying to say is you can reprogram your mind to want to do more of the future orientated stuff. As uncomfortable as it can be sometimes, having a purpose and struggling for it gives you a strong sense of meaning. And there's a story in the article about a 23-year-old girl who had leukemia, and she was extremely weak, she was dying, and no one thought she would make it to the wedding. But she managed to wait, and on the big day she got her dress on, she wheeled her wheelchair down the aisle, and she stood up with her husband for the entire ceremony. And then she died 2 weeks later. So essentially that presence of a meaningful struggle prolonged her life. Moving on to wealth. So there are many billionaires who are envious of other billionaires with more. And there's a nice metaphor that's in this article by a guy called Tim O'Reilly. Money is like gasoline during a road trip. You don't want to run out of gas during your trip, but you also don't want to do a tour of all the gas stations. So you have to pay attention to your money, but it shouldn't be about the money. In the end, the happy person isn't happy because of what happened, but because of what they did. The outcomes of their actions were less important than taking action. So what do you want to want? And if you have no idea, that's fine. Just start writing stuff down. What does your ideal future look like? What do you want to be doing on a daily basis? What personality traits do you want? What do you want your relationships to look like? Just write a lot of stuff down and make sure you've got a nice mixture of hedonic and eudaimonic stuff. Then once you've got a rough idea of what you want to want, start setting yourself small specific goals and remind yourself that struggle is part of it, like that is necessary. But all that being said, the goal itself doesn't really matter. Like the end goal doesn't matter. What matters is you're in the process of working towards something. And I just thought of a final question. So, are the things you're currently doing on a daily basis getting you further or closer to your ideal future?